Cheers and welcome to another episode of Talk the Talk with me, Desh Palay Bechin. So joining me today is Alex Boavida, dealer principal at Mercedes Benz Sandton, which is part of the Sandton Motor Group. Now, before I go into explaining more about who Alex is, I must say I'm so proud of her, not just because she's a dealer principal in Sandton, but she's also a finalist for the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, which is powered by MFC and Evo by Nedbank. And this is, she has, ended up in the top 30 or top 300 out of 3,000 plus nominations. I'm very, very proud to be sitting with her. Alex is a person that shares a common goal with the people that she is leading. This is to not only be respected by her team, but to also win their hearts, which is so important. For her, it is of utmost importance to connect with her team in order to get to know them, and when trouble or complications do surface, she knows how to help each person in the best possible way. I'm so excited, as I said, to be talking to Alex. So let's welcome Alex. And as always, this interview is proudly brought to you by Sariti Solutions. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
Thank you so much. We met in lockdown, right?
Yeah, we did.
Like virtually met in lockdown.
Correct.
So this is long overdue. When your nomination came through, I do not make the final decisions, but when I found out that you landed up in the top 30, I was like, I know her. So I'm so glad to finally meet you. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, and thanks for having me yesterday. It's very nice to be here, and you're right, it's long overdue. And it's nice to be sitting with each other having a conversation.
Absolutely. So, as I said, you have been nominated for the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, and you landed up in the top 30. But also you have a very colorful history in motoring South Africa, leading a flagship dealership for Mercedes in Sandton. So I want to start. I want to begin by you actually, telling us your story.
Oh, actually, I landed up in the motor trade by accident. Mm-hmm. We lived overseas in Egypt, and we came back to South Africa, and this was 11 years ago now, or 10 years ago. And I came back and thought, what I'm going to do, I'm qualified in terms of hospitality, I've done strategic projects, I've done analysis, I've done training, and we're looking through the magazines, and I always go for the car magazine, and I was told, why don't you try the car industry? I thought, it's never really interested me, but yeah, I love cars, and why not? I went around and I got a job in Nelspruit, and I started working for Mercedes Benz as their sales manager, first time in the automotive industry. Mm-hmm. I was a sales exec for about a week and was promoted to sales manager with Mercedes Benz. So I've only been with Mercedes Benz my entire tenure with the automotive industry, and I've loved it. And then I moved to Joburg. I was also a sales manager. In 2016, I was promoted to dealer principal. And in 2018, I received my appointment to the new Sandton dealership that then opened in 2019. Mm-hmm. And I've been running it since then.
Okay, and tell us more. Gosh, you are so proud of your dealership. I remember when we chatted in lockdown, you said, Desh, please come and have a coffee with me at my dealership. Never got around to doing it. But it is definitely, as I said earlier on, a flagship dealership, and it is so beautiful. Tell us about that, the dealership, the brand. I know you led a team of 250 people at the time. Obviously, due to unfortunate circumstances, you have a few less, but it's still a huge dealership. Yes. Tell us about it.
So the dealership in Sandton, if anyone has seen it, is iconic in the terms that we are March 2020. So it's almost the future of retail, and how we wanted to collaborate with the future of retail, where it's more about the technology of the surroundings in your product, more so than the product itself. So it's about matching and marrying the customer's lifestyle to the brand instead of the other way around. So it's quite open, it's quite a big showcase, it's about storytelling. We don't have any sales execs on the floor. We're the first of its kind to open in the entire world. as a fully fledged MAR 2020 dealership. There are many others now in the world that operate like that. All my staff sit in a back office, and that's why I invite you to come and have a look at it. No one is customer facing per se. We have hosts at all our entrances.
I know you're seeing all of the surprise on my face, and no one is seeing it on camera, because this is a plus for me. Please tell me more.
Yeah, so I mean, we have hosts that greet a customer as they come in. You try and manage the customer's journey through the touch points that you have. Your staff sit in more of a back office where they do all their admin, which you don't want your customer to be privy to, and you want to give them that great experience. So it was challenging right in the beginning. You know, we're not used to it. We're not used to this setup, and you know, people don't like change. So we amalgamated two basically dealerships, and we opened up one, which was a challenge on its own, but we navigated through that quite well, and we were doing exceptionally well in terms of our location and the amount of people in Sandton. And then unfortunately, you know, COVID, who's affected every single business, came along, and it really has hurt the industry and many businesses. But in saying that, it's also changed the way we do things, and I think there's positives and negatives to COVID, but yeah, unfortunately, you know, we've had to downscale, and eventually going to start getting up again. You can see the automotive industry as a whole is really improving quite nicely.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. Their numbers are already pre-COVID numbers. On that, I represent NADA as their vice chair, so I keep a tab on those numbers very closely, and it's really welcoming to see the growth that we've anticipated. I had a prediction at the beginning of the year that we will grow 10 to 15% as an industry. I had lots of reservation and lots of comments around that, but if I look at the last quarter, we have definitely done that.
So that's what I'd like to talk about next. Alex, you are the vice chairperson of NADA?
Yes, that's correct.
That alone is such an achievement. Congratulations on that. Maybe you can give us some information or offer us some information regarding your job at NADA, what it is that you do, and yeah.
So NADA is the National Automotive Dealers Association. Our job as a subsidiary is to look at the motor industry and the dealership specifically, and discuss any new legislation or any new rules or things that change within our industry to educate the public in terms of our dealership network and to support them as much as we can. So I think NADA's biggest role was during COVID, where they were able to transform and lobby with government to allow dealerships to reopen from in level 4, where we wouldn't have had that before. So they really have a great place in what we do. We do a lot of things behind the scenes. We all do it for our love of the industry, and trying to, you know, make sure that the right things happen for the industry, as well as the industry is doing the right things for the public. So I think there's a joint relationship. Our job is to look after dealers, but also to protect the consumer, to make sure that all our partners and members are operating in the right vein. So we look at transformation, we look at banks, we look at how we incorporate and share information around second-hand goods and so forth. So we're really intricately involved on the back end to make sure that from the front end for the consumer and the dealer that everything operates fairly. So it's really interesting.
Right, and what do you enjoy most about your role? Because that's where you are as a dealer principal.
Sure, I mean, there's nothing to not like. I mean, there's some things that we don't really enjoy, but I love the fact that it's so diverse, and the people I deal with, not only my staff, but also the customers that we deal with day to day, everything changes. There's no boring day, which is really nice. And I think as much as we all hate it, we all love the month in rush and the delivery of cars and the excitement of customers. And I think that's why we do it every day. And to grow people, you know, we have a responsibility as an automotive sector. We represent 7% of the GDP at the moment, which is massive. And we employ a number of people, and it's about growing those individuals into, you know, what they can be. And we've got such an open, vast areas that you can, you know, you've got marketing, you've got sales, you've got after sales, you've got service. So there's so much you can do, and it's really diverse, and I think that's why I enjoy it the most.
Okay, and I'd like to just read a quote here. Too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears, said by Les Brown. And my next question is going to be about that, just that, you know, we are living our fears. We are so fearful of the unknown. So with you, someone must have inspired you to continue with the courage and the resilience that you have. Who and what is that?
Sure, I don't know if I can actually give you one specific name. I think there's just the journey of life has taken me to so many different areas and different things, and I've done so many different things that, you know, and everyone has touched me and inspired me to be better and greater. And I think my biggest thing is my determination to always succeed. So I really, my ethos as an individual, as well as that of our brand that I represent, it's the best in nothing. And my theory has always been, you either do it properly or you don't do it at all.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I think that's, and all the, you know, there's so many mentors that I've had in my life that each and the individual have given me different things that have grown me and made me better as to who I am today. But yeah, so I think it's an array of individuals, and I wouldn't maybe focus on just one.
Right. Now, Alex, you are such a champion for change, a catalyst for change, and this transformation. We actually spoke at length about it off air. Why so?
Well, I believe that the industry, again, I've only been around for 10 years, and I just don't see enough of a shift. And I believe in equality amongst all, you know, from gender to race to all levels in our business. And if you don't have that, you struggle to operate in an environment where you're dealing with a customer base that is a completely different collective. So I really think that, yeah, I think it's a good thing, and we need to focus on how do we transform this industry into a more opened up, with more gender, with a bigger development of race and so forth, that bring their own to the business that we don't have currently. So transformation is a big thing for me. I think we all need to transform as individuals. It's not about stopping what you're doing and completely change, but it's about incorporating and finding ways that you can incorporate. So as an example, my service manager was instructed to hire female apprentices in my workshop. And it's a difficult environment for a female to be in, and you have to be a strong individual. And I'm very happy to say that we now have 3, and one is now qualifying as a technician, and we will keep growing that because they add different value. It's not always about strength. You know, everyone adds value.
I'd like to say that because I'm actually looking at a quote right now. It says, and it's by Mahatma Gandhi, and it's not because I'm Indian I'm saying this, but you're talking about strength. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will.
Yeah.
So, and that's exactly what you're saying right now. I mean, we want numbers. You talked about it earlier on, and I guess from another perspective as well. We talked about feminism and what feminism is. Feminism is, by definition, look in the dictionary. Feminism is not about a woman that wants to see only women dominating. No, feminism is the equality between men and women on an economic, political, and social level. That's all that it is. And you and I share the belief that this is what should happen. We want equality. We believe that men and women can bring equal to the table.
100%.
And agree more. Having said that, again, you've been now, nominated for MWOTI, which is powered by Nedbank. You've on our show. This is the second initiative that we have, and you are contributing as a strong, powerful voice. And you're probably going to join our Women Talk movement, where we are providing a platform for women to get together and to be educated and empowered and uplifted. So you literally are going to be a very strong part of our movement moving forward. How do you feel about all of these initiatives created in South Africa, in motoring South Africa? I
mean, I think it's great. I think everyone needs to be open to the fact that everyone contributes different things. And I found of late that, it's not only the clerical things that women are good at. We're good at operations. We're really good at operations. Right. We're really good at managing people, customers, and so forth. And to allow that flexibility in our environment, I think that's one of our biggest focuses. And I think transformation is into itself the change that the industry will have. Because in the industry, if we look at what's happening in the industry at the moment, and we look 7 years forward, I think it's going to be a very different industry. I think these big dealerships that we have in South Africa specifically, more so than anywhere else, will maybe reduce. We'll have other creative ways of how do we then inspire and talk to our customers through more technology. And I think in doing so, you have to change as a complete industry. And we are ever changing, and people resist change. But change is always good.
Yes.
Change is good because if you don't change, it means you never learn. And it means you've never made mistakes, and you can only change for better. I don't believe we ever change for the worse. So I think change is good, and these things all need to be, we all need to be open to that.
Right, Alex, what advice can you give to young girls? Not just young girls, but we do these workshops. We're hopefully doing one at your lovely dealership. But young girls that want to enter into the trade, want to make a conscious decision that I want to be in motoring, not just fall into the industry like you and I have. And also to the young women that are in sales management positions, like you've been in a sales executive position for 1 week, you said, but those ladies that are sitting, in the wash bays also. I had a lady just before you that was a tea lady, and now she's a dealer principal.
Yeah, amazing.
And
what a great story.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. For Best McCarthy, her name is Caroline, we were just sitting together now. Just amazing. But what advice can you give to these young girls and women that want to move up the ranks?
I say never give up. Never give up. And doesn't matter what happens, you never give up. You need to know your worth, and I think that's the most important thing. You are just as important as anyone else is. Your contribution is just as important. Don't be quiet. Have a voice. Use your voice. Don't be scared or intimidated. And I think it's important that we also understand, and I think the challenge with being a woman is that, we become mothers, and then our careers kind of take a sideline, where I think, we are living in an age right now where our partners are more open and receptive to the fact that, we also have a career, and it's about having that balance and allowing the balance to happen from a home base to as well as at work, to make sure that you can grow. And, I think if you just have the tenacity to keep going, you will go far.
Absolutely.
And have the voice. Don't be scared to use it.
And I'm going to say again another quote. Always remember, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. So on that note, I would like to conclude this interview. We thank you so much for being with us. But I'm interested to know, who's Alex at home?
Alex at home, when she does spend some time at home, is a very calm person, to be honest.
You're a mom, right?
I'm a mom. I've got 2 daughters. I've got a 5 and a 3-year-old. I enjoy spending outdoors and activities with them, and I love my kids. I love spending time with them, and I try and do as much as I can of that when I'm at home. I also enjoy just being at home and just enjoying the presence of home, and also love socializing. So you have to find the balance between everything and work and everything else. So I think we all diverse in our ways, and
it's so hard to see past Alex the professional, because you really are a strong leader in the industry, and I know you have an amazing future, and you're definitely going to steer this. With the help of you, we can steer this in a different direction. And Marsha Mayaba, your ex-co chairperson, always says to me, Desh, we can't change the world. You're trying too hard. You cannot change the industry, but let's just leave it better than we found it.
100%.
And that's all we're going to do. So thank you for coming and helping and contributing to this.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. And you're 100% right. I think everyone can make their own individual difference. Every difference is important.
Absolutely.
So thank you for what you do for us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Good. And thank you, viewers. Thank you so much for watching, commenting, and sharing our interviews and our content. Our non-profit companies, the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, powered by MFC and Evo by Nedbank, and the Talk Studios, powered by Sariti Solutions, are aimed at recognizing and celebrating the women of motoring South Africa. We are not just telling stories, we are changing lives, or at least we're trying to change lives. Together we aim to empower and uplift the women of our trade. And for those of you that are searching for your new ride, please visit www.auto.evo.africa. We have thousands of vehicles on sale for you to choose from, and we only advertise on behalf of reliable and trustworthy MFC accredited dealerships. This car listing portal is incredibly user-friendly, and you can also find vehicle reviews and car maintenance tips and advice, all courtesy of the Talk Studios. So ladies, I am going to leave you with this little bit of philosophical piece, and it's not just because I'd like you to take from this interview and be inspired by it, but it's because I'm sitting with a successful woman right next to me. So ladies, in order to become successful, it can be very important to have the right mindset for success. You have to have the strength, which we talked about a little bit earlier on, to see things through. You can't hesitate or procrastinate. And I always say procrastination is the grave of all opportunities. So try not procrastinate. The world's greatest achievers are those who have stayed focused on their goals and been consistent in their efforts. So my advice for you today, if you want it, you should make it happen, just like Alex has done. And on that note, I would like to remind you that the question should never be, who's going to let me? It should always be,
who's going to stop me?
Absolutely, absolutely.